All right, hopefully, yeah, I think I've got audio. But if you're out there, thank you for being out there, by the way, joining me live. If you're not getting audio and you're seeing my mouth move, then just please let me know in chat. I had a hiccup with my mic this morning, but I think it's okay now. So, welcome everybody. Thank you for being here. If you could make it, um, I know that 8 in the morning on Mondays is a tough call. Okay, great. Thank you, Kal Iran. So who I can see? Let's see. The moderator, welcome. Robo Genko, good morning. That one kid, good morning. Kal Iran and King Solomon, good morning to all of you. And anyone else, sorry if I can't see you. Casino, thanks. I see you now. So anyway, thank you for being here for the live part of this. It's helpful to me just to have a little bit of interaction. So I know that 8 a.m. on Monday mornings is rough. It's rough for me too. Um, but I also know that a lot of you work, and I thought I could have done evenings maybe, or I could have done mornings, and it's probably a wash either way. So we are a two streaming household, which means that my wife and I have to coordinate our activities around our streaming rig. So that's why the schedule is as it is. So if you can make it on a regular basis, that's wonderful. If you can't and you have to watch it on video, I apologize for that. So I am Boyd Trollinger. My full name is John Boyd Trollinger. So when you email me, you'll see Trollinger J-O. That's the John part. But I go by my middle name, Boyd. I see something I don't like on the screen. So let me fix it real quick, which is the browser's just a touch. That is better. Sorry, normally I wouldn't make those adjustments if I didn't have to, but I just didn't like the way that it looked. Okay, so hopefully you are here for the Linux 1 course, CSCI 25. Um, if you're here and you're on the wait list, there is another online section that we have opened up just at the end of last week. So if you missed it, which you may have, there's another section. It's going to be structured and delivered in very much the same way that this section will be, except for it will be with a different instructor. So if you're watching and you're on the wait list, I won't be adding anybody from the wait list unless it should happen the other course gets filled, and then we will consider adding from the wait list. Okay, so there you are. That's me and Boyd. There's my apology because it's early. The setup that you're seeing is our typical setup. You'll see my other screen when we switch to a view of Linux. So you'll always see me, or at least hopefully my camera will be working and you'll see me. You'll always see an agenda, and then you'll see in the main part of the screen either a web browser because I want to show you things there, or you'll see my other view, which is to work in a virtual machine so that we can do experiments in Linux. Okay, what else? So I have been a Linux user since at this point the early 90s. I started using Linux before I knew anything about computers. I just knew that I was having a miserable experience on my Windows machine, and I went to the computer store, and the person sold me a Linux in a box. And then I spent the next 18 months to 2 years trying to figure out how to learn how to use a computer again. Um, okay, yeah, so I see that the moderator is normally unable to be here live. So apologies for that. What happens after the live stream? Twitch will have video of it for about 90 days. And then I also upload a video to YouTube. I upload a video that I can get closed captioned through our state contractor, and then all of that stuff gets linked into the Canvas site, which I will show you. Okay, Harrison. If I remember that, hopefully I remember that. So the moderator, Harrison, nice to meet you. Okay, so let's do the agenda then. So there's my welcomes. So this is a course that expects that you have never touched a Linux system before. My primary goal in this class is to get you to the point where you feel very comfortable working in a command line only environment. That means you get comfortable working in a system where you don't need a mouse and all you do is type in commands at a keyboard and press enter and then inspect the results of your commands. That's my goal. I think every good system administrator, and if you are here from the computer programming degree or certificate, that's also a skill of high value for you as well. So I think everybody who's a computing professional should be able to operate from the command line effectively. And that's one of my main goals in this course. Okay, so let me get myself where I can see my browser and then kind of show you so we're looking at the instructor view. I guess I could switch to student view, even though I don't like it. Just because it puts this little bar across the bottom. It doesn't look super nice. Anyway, so there's closer at least to what you guys will see when you go into Canvas. So hopefully it's true that as of this morning at 7 a.m. when our IT people unlocked Canvas for all of you who are enrolled in classes, you can now see all of the content. So if you go to the home page of our course in Canvas, you will find the announcements at the top. The only announcement, which I don't do that many announcements, but the announcement right now is just a reminder that we're doing a live stream every Monday morning at 8 a.m. And then I make videos of that available shortly after. So our live broadcast 8 to 9. The 9 a.m. can be a little bit fungible. Sometimes I don't need a whole hour for the week's kind of experiments, and sometimes I get questions and get into the middle of an example that push me over a little bit. So if you have to kind of come late or leave early, or come late and leave early from the live stream, if you can't consume the whole thing, I don't know why that Hello Goofy thing is showing up there. If you can't consume the whole live stream, that's okay. I enjoy when you can be here, but if you can't be here or you have to come late or leave early, that's always okay. A video of the whole thing will be made available to you later. Okay, so our homepage, announcements, the principal information about when and how you can find me, this live stream. I also use ConferZoom, which I'll click on the link and let's see if this is why I don't like the student view, because I can't see ConferZoom like you guys can. So what ConferZoom is, it's a scheduling system that you can schedule one-on-one time with me during the semester. So I do office hours on Thursday afternoons. I do 15-minute blocks. If you are in a pinch and you are sure that 15 minutes is not enough, it's okay to block out 2 sections of office hours. So ConferZoom is there. I went back to the instructor view so it would look more like what you see. Every Thursday from 2 to 4 p.m. there are these 15-minute blocks where if you want to just hang out with and talk about things for a few minutes, or if you have something you want to look at in your schoolwork, we can do that. Back to the home page. So the live stream that we're doing now, ConferZoom, where you can book one-on-one time with me. And then I also do a wide open office hour, a drop-in office hour on Zoom on Thursdays. So 2 to 4 is one-on-one time that you can schedule. 4 to 5 is you just drop in whenever you want, leave whenever you want, talk about whatever you want. And usually I don't have that many people, if any, come to the drop-in office hour. But some people get in the habit just because it's nice to connect and talk about the things that we're doing in our work or in class, that sort of stuff. And then if all else fails, if the live stream won't work and ConferZoom is booked and you can't do the drop-in times, you can always use Canvas Inbox to contact me and request a time that we can talk or ask your question or whatever it is that's going to serve your needs best. Okay, so that's on the homepage. That's all the ways that you can get in touch with me or see me do my thing during the semester. At the bottom of the homepage is a weekly schedule with the topics and links to the modules for the entire semester. So for your class, the entire semester's work is posted online right now. So you can go look at any of it. You can go work on any of it. There are due dates, so you need to pay attention to those, but I don't hide course content from people because I don't see that there's any point in that. This doesn't look right. This is the wrong class. Which may mean that there's a broken link somewhere. All right. That doesn't change anything. It's just I noticed that the table with schedule kind of looked wrong. Okay, so this is the entire semester. You do have a midterm and a final, and those are only open during the week of the midterm and the final. So those are the only things that you can only access during a particular window. All of the modules are available to you. The distribution project is available to you. I recommend you go in order, just because generally things are meant to be in a particular order. But you can always look ahead at least, or if you know you're going to have a busy week, you can maybe consider trying to get out front a little bit. So if you're ever in doubt about what you should be doing in this class, you can either you can come to the homepage, figure out a way to talk to me or get in touch with me, and you can scroll down to the bottom of the homepage and you can see everything that we're doing week by week by week for the entire semester, and link to the various modules. Okay, I'm going to have a sip of coffee, and then I'm going to say hello to more people. So at least these are the ones that I can see. So Casino, hello. Gabby, hello. Gels, Kalaron, Kaliron, I hope I'm saying that right. King Solomon, Peachy Breeze, Robo Genko, that one kid, and the moderator, Harrison. Hello, good morning to everybody. So that's the homepage. And then I know this is the most boring day. At least I hope you find that this is the one kind of most boring day, because I need to walk through the way everything's set up for you and the way the course is going to work. So all that stuff is on the homepage. Everything that you need to go sort of locate what should I be doing, or how can I talk to the instructor, is right here on the course homepage in Canvas. Okay, so I'm going to go through the links you can see, and then we'll circle back to the modules page. So announcements is what they say that they are. This is where occasionally I will post an announcement, either if something unusual happens and I have to change the time of a live stream, which is unlikely, or I have changed an assignment or something, and it would be highly unusual. Oh, okay. So K is good, Kaliron. So I'll go with K, which is just super, super helpful. I know I usually say BT just to make it easy for people as well. So thank you for that, Kaliron. Okay. All right. So announcements. I don't use it very often, but occasionally an announcement will appear, and that's what this page is for. You should go read them if they appear. I never move deadlines earlier, but sometimes I will move them later if something happens that I think an adjustment is needed. So I organize my course in modules, which I hope if you've taken other online courses, those instructors do this as well, because I think it's the best way to use Canvas, but not everyone agrees probably. So every module for the entire week of the semester is available. And I know my view is slightly different from yours, but you'll see the same content. This week we have 2 modules. The orientation module, which I call week 0. And then you'll notice that completing the week 0 module is a prerequisite for the entire rest of the content of the course. So for sure, the thing you want to do first is get through the orientation materials. And the way these pages work is you click on the first part, and this week has a wall of text. Apologies for that. I just need to kind of get a lot of information out there for you to ponder. So a welcome page. And then at the bottom of these module pages, there will be next and previous buttons. There is no thing previous to the welcome page. So we'll click next. Another wall of text. This page, course navigation, is referring to what the meaning of the links on the left are, as far as you can see them. Some ideas about how you might maximize your chances for success in the course. At this point, probably many of you are experienced online students, but if you're new to it, it takes a lot of discipline. So I wish there was something I could do to help you with that, but most of us kind of need to find our rhythm in terms of what makes us successful for online learning. I would like to say that I would do best if I schedule myself for particular hours in the week for particular activities, but I just never get around to the schedule thing. So I usually have to say, like on Thursday afternoon, I have to make sure that this thing gets done. And if it gets to be Thursday evening and I haven't done it, then too bad for me. I missed dinner or whatever it is to do it. But anyway, I'm just kind of telling you these walls of text are here to tell you about myself and the course, present to you some ideas about what people in my line of work find help students be successful, and so on. So I'll just keep clicking the next buttons to get to the next page of the module and the next page of the module. Week 0 is a little bit different because it's all introductory material and all describing how the course is structured. Now I'm going to come back to all of these ideas here in just a moment, but this week 0 part 3 page is one of the biggies because it tells you where points come from, like how do I earn a grade in this course. But I'll come back to the specifics of how you earn a grade in the course when I look at the syllabus. The one thing, I'll go ahead and tell you, and then you will have heard it twice. So every week we do a lab, and labs, what I'll do in my live stream typically is introduce you to the topics for the week, and then I will open up a Linux system and I will go do a bunch of sort of hands-on experiments to explore those topics. Most of the topics we encounter take the form of typing commands in a Linux system to see what they do. So we do that during the live stream / video. And then I ask you a bunch of questions related to those topics as the way to submit your lab work. So your labs look like mostly multiple choice questions. We also have a discussion every week. And I know that if you've done online classes before, this can be kind of tiresome because you end up like often with the same kinds of discussion topics in your different classes, like tell us about yourself this week, which you're going to see. But it's a way, in my opinion, what's valuable about discussion is that I can ask you to go sort of do research and then share as a group things that you learn that we don't necessarily have time to cover in any detail during the live stream. But I also like the idea of discussion, that you're reminded that you're in a community of learners. You can see that there's other people out there. You can see that they are concerning themselves with the same topics as you are. And it's just nice to know that you're not alone in any of this. So I like discussion for that. And we have discussion every week, with the exception of the weeks of the exams. We don't do anything but the exams. We have one big individual project where you will research different Linux distributions. If you don't know what a distribution is, that is one of the goals of the first week's content is for you to know what I mean when I say a Linux distribution. Many of you may know, but many of you may not. So you have a project around this concept of a distribution where you will do research, you will install some software, you will perform some experiments with that software, and then you will write a short report that you submit as your project. That's I think that project is due in early December, so we have a while before we have to worry about that. And then we have two exams. They're both comprehensive exams, meaning the midterm will cover all of the material up to that point in the semester, and the final, I can't remember actually right now. The final probably covers the entire semester, but it may only cover the second half. We'll look. But anyway, expect that you need prep time for these exams because they are meant to be comprehensive. The reason why I do comprehensive exams is because at least some of you, I hope, will decide to prepare for and take a certification exam in Linux. So I want that to be part of this course's experience, that you have prepared for a larger comprehensive exam that will, and that experience will be useful to you when you go out and attempt to earn a certification. Okay. We'll come back to late work. Just assume that my general policy on late work is that I don't accept it. But I am not a crazy person either, and I understand that sometimes things happen that are outside of our control. So late work is generally not accepted, but I am willing to consider circumstances where life happens to people and they need some adjustments. So that's my late work policy, but you're going to be asked a question about it on the week 0 quiz, and the answer is generally I don't accept late work. I just think it's a bad idea to encourage people to get behind, because most people will never catch up. Okay, so here's a repeat on our live meetings, 8 to 9 a.m. every Monday. And then finally, the ways that you communicate with me, which we'll repeat here in just a second. All right, next in the module. And then for you, this will be where you polish off week 0 module. So it's a short quiz. You have there, I believe, yeah, you can attempt it as many times as you can until you get it perfect, because I want, it's important that you know the basic course policies, which is what the orientation quiz is about. Okay, so there is the week 0 module. If I click next, I'm taken to week 1. So I'm going to step away from this and come back to week 1 in just a moment. So that was the modules page. I just stepped through all the pages of the week 0 orientation module, which have to be completed before you can access the other content in the course. Okay, so Confer Zoom, I already showed you. That is a way, if you go to appointment booking, that is a way for you to book one-on-one time with me. All of the time slots are Thursday afternoons between 2 and 4 p.m. I have experimented with spreading out office hours across the week in the last couple of years, and that never seems to have any effect one way or the other. So I've just compressed it all into one afternoon where I sit here for a few hours and hopefully get to meet people and talk to people and help people who would like to have the help. Okay, so that is home announcements, modules, Confer Zoom. We'll go to the guides page, and you have not very many of them. So this guides page, these are, and I'll just show you a couple of examples real quick. These are pages that I put together to help you complete some of the tasks in the course with which you may not be familiar. So this first week, the week 1 module, you may find that you need 3 of these guides to do it, and that's fine. That's why I created them. So the first thing you're going to do to start working on the week 1 module is going to be to install a piece of software on a computer. So I'm going to right click this and open it in a tab. So let me just show you what the guides look like. Waiting for images to load. So this is what the guides look like. They are step-by-step instructions with screenshots of what to do to perform different kinds of tasks. So this first task is installing installing rather Oracle VirtualBox on your computer. You're going to need that this semester because we use virtual machines, which I think is the best way to gain confidence on a Linux, is to actually install one and control it for yourself. I'm not a big fan of logging into a web browser and issuing commands on somebody else's Linux system on a web browser, because it just doesn't feel the same as a virtual machine that is my virtual machine that I can destroy if I want to, I can recreate if I want to, I can alter if I want to. I just think the experience is better for it. So here's one of the guides for the first week's module. And if you ever find that you need to reinstall this piece of software, then the guide will be here to help you do that. So screen captures, some of them are marked up to kind of draw your attention to what's important. So that one, there's an example. There's also a guide that you'll use at least in the first week and possibly in other weeks. So now that I have this Oracle software, what do I do with it? Well, we install virtual machines into it, some of which I give you. So this is another guide. So hopefully you get the idea about what the guides are about. I'm watching the clock a little bit. And then I also have what if this is so new to me that I'm kind of intimidated and I don't even know how to complete the lab assignment for week 1? Well, I've made a guide for that, which I hope will get you far enough along that you can complete the lab and feel confident about your first week's work. So that's what they look like. You're going to see that live system here in just a moment. And then one that we need in 2 to 3 weeks from now, how to install a Debian virtual machine. So that's the guides page. I'm not likely to add more guides, but if something comes up or someone asks a question and I think, oh, I should make a guide for that, then you might see more guides. But anyway, don't forget this is here. There will be links to this guide from some of your labs, but this is here in case you get stuck on something. These major tasks I have done these guides for. Videos. Hopefully. Yeah. Okay, so there's nothing here right now. So the way the videos page works is when I get done with the live stream, I move a copy over to YouTube. I move a copy over to our captioning service. And then I put links to the caption video and the YouTube video versions here on the videos page and include a description of what we talked about that day. So I do this every Monday when we get done with this live stream. I will make a new entry in here and upload the videos and links to them here inside of Canvas. So if you're ever wondering about and can't find the class video from that week, the videos page will have them. Twitch also houses my videos for I think 90 days at a time at my level of affiliate. So you can always come back to Twitch and find the videos. I don't link them because eventually Twitch deletes them. So they have a time limit on them, so I don't link them into Canvas, but you can always use Twitch to get to the videos of the completed live streams if you like. That's the videos page. Grades will be grades. And then finally the syllabus. It's 8:29. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. Let's get through the syllabus and then take 2 or 3 minute break. And hopefully that doesn't bother you, but I like to give my voice a rest, at least until I get it back in shape after the break, after the summer. So let's go through the course syllabus. We'll take a short break and then we'll look at week 1. Okay, so the syllabus. What's important here really, well, this is all the key information about the course content itself. It also tells you where I'm getting most of my materials from. It has links to our software, our discussion platform, which you'll find links to that in all sorts of different places. But what I want to focus on is how grades are earned in this course so that we don't leave today without you knowing clearly how grades are earned in this course. So here's how grades are earned. We have the week 0 quiz, which is the orientation quiz, which is required to complete before you move on to any of the regular content modules. That's 50 points. We have one lab assignment every week, with the exception of the midterm and finals weeks. So for 15 weeks of the 17-week semester, you have a lab assignment. A lab assignment tends to be that I ask you to explore some ideas or commands inside a Linux system, and then I ask you a series of questions about those to follow up on your learning experience. 15 of those. We have 15 discussions. So we don't do discussion during the midterm or the finals week, but every other week you will find in your module, I have a prompt that asks you to go to the discussion and share some information with us. We'll look at one today just so you know what I'm talking about. So we have 15 discussions. So every week you will do a lab assignment and you will do a discussion, except for the week of the midterm and the week of the final exam where that's all you do. We have one midterm and one final. And then we have one independent project, which I call the distro project. And if you don't know what a distro is, you will very shortly know what a distro is. But anyway, it involves you doing some research, you installing some software, you doing some experiments, and then you writing up some documentation that you submit as your project deliverable. Hold on just a second. I got a dry mouth cough coming. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so that's the points. The points I've already talked about the late work policy. So this is the more detailed late work policy that says generally I don't accept late work, but I'm also a rational human being. At least I try to be. So I understand that sometimes things happen and we need to work together to make adjustments for you. Hopefully, by the way, this semester is one of those semesters where you find your path across the semester to be a smooth one. But there's the real world out there, so we're always prepared. Okay, and then here's the points breakdown. If I can just do that part, there we go. So here's how the points break down. The week 0 orientation quiz, the labs. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I dropped 2 of them. So that was nice of me. So there are 15, but they only take your best 13 as your final score. So that gives you room to miss a couple of labs if life comes up. Or if you have some that score lower, the lowest 2 are dropped. Same for the discussions. The lowest 2 are dropped, which could mean just entirely missing a discussion or maybe missing the point of the discussion or just not having your best week at getting anything of substance out there in the discussion. So there are 15, but the best 13 are kept. The 2 exams and then the distro project, so you can see how the points break down. And then some links that the college asks us to provide to you about being successful in online studies, some extra campus resources in case you need to contact a counselor, things like that. And then the course outline of record, which is the official paperwork about this course that is submitted to the state of California. Okay, where did I get? It's 8:34. Well, I wanted to take a longer break than that. Yeah. So I know I've got some of you've got things going on. So I'm literally going to take like just a minute break, get some water. Yeah, so I'm just going to break for a couple of minutes. So I'm gonna put a different screen up, and then I'm come back at 8:37. Let's say. Hopefully your computer is accurate like mine. So It's 8:34 on my computer. I'm going to break till 8:37, and then we'll look at the week 1 module. So when we come back, so that I can get some water and rest my throat for just a couple of minutes, I'm going to click on this week 1 link. I'm at the home page. So I went back to the home page, and I'm going to go into the week 1 module and talk about that quickly. So give me just, it's now 8:35, so 2-minute break. All right. Thank you for my voice is just going to be rough until I get it back in shape. So thanks for giving me that short break, and maybe it gave you a chance to get something to drink or to stretch your legs a little bit. Okay, so the week 1 stuff. So I'm going to try to finish this stream within an hour every week. So in some cases, I'm going to leave you to do some research, and then I'll give you some hints or the actual information if I think it might be hard to find. But let's look at the week 1 module. So I went back to the course homepage, which is I just clicked it again. Anyway, which of course has all the how do you contact me and where do you see me stuff. But at the bottom is a schedule. Oh, Harrison, sorry, man. Um, I hope that's an okay thing. Oh, maybe you're not stuck in traffic at least, I hope. Um, okay, so scroll down the bottom of the homepage and the course schedule is here. This week has 2 modules, the orientation module, which is week 0. And once I've done that, now all the rest of the content is opened up to me. So I'm going to click on the week 1 module. So here's the week 1 module. Every week after week 0 is put together the same way. There'll be a listing of the goals, the readings that are there to help you complete the lab and the questions in the lab assignment itself, the discussion prompt and links, and then reminders about what you should be doing either this week or for some near future week. Oh, I've heard that about Tahoe. Why have I heard that about Tahoe, Harrison, that there's a mess going on up there? I don't know, but that's a bummer. Okay, so going to go for goals for the week. This page is just here to let you know what it is I hope you experienced that week. So this week, what do we hope to accomplish? Get ourselves, I'll show you Piazza here in a moment. So Piazza is our discussion forum. I do not use Canvas discussion forum. I use Piazza discussion system because I think it's just better for technical users. So that'll be a goal for the week, is for you all to get your Piazza account. Another goal is to download and install Oracle VM VirtualBox. There is a guide for that on the guides page. And you'll see here in a moment that there's also links to it. And then we'll install a virtual machine image. There's a guide for that on the guides page. And then finally logging into the virtual machine and executing a couple of commands just to know that everything's working. That's our big goals for the week. And then kind of a repeat here in terms of what it is that we're doing. Okay. So the next page, readings and lecture. So these readings are where I got many of your questions from. So one recommendation I have is that you read them, of course, but that you also keep open tabs to these readings so that you can refer to them as you're answering questions in the lab. So some of the questions in the lab are going to be you typing in commands and looking to see what happens. Other questions are going to be knowledge type questions, and those are going to come from your readings. I use Wikipedia a fair amount for technical things. I think they're pretty solid. Wherever you see mirror, the reason why some of these links have a mirror next to them is that the website that these links are based at sometimes goes down. In fact, regularly goes down. So if you see a mirror link, that's there in case the main link doesn't work. That's all that is. Okay, anyway, so there's readings. It looks like a lot, but most of them are pretty short pages. And not every week has this much reading. But we have a fair amount of knowledge to get through this week. So that's what that's about. So this week I'm going to ask you some questions about what an operating system is. The answers will be in the Wikipedia reading for that. There will be some questions about Linux itself. A little bit of the history of Linux, getting at what do we mean when we say a distribution, comparing Linux to Unix. They are not the same thing, but they are very, very similar. So effectively learning your way around a Linux class, a Linux system will let you move around a Unix system effectively as well, because they share very many things in common, but they are not the same thing. A root user. So I will talk about this briefly. I'm looking at my agenda here. So the root user in a Linux system is the most privileged account. If you've used a Mac or a Windows system or a Linux system, you should be familiar with the idea that there are administrator type users on most of these systems. And you have regular users who have less privileges to do things like install software or remove software or create accounts, those kinds of things. So in a Linux system, the most privileged user is called the root user, or just root. So when we say root in Linux, we mean the all-powerful administrator account on that system. The root user in a Linux system can do anything that user wants to do, pretty much, which means that the root user has the power to destroy systems if the root user makes mistakes or wants to do something mean. And the reason I bring this up early is because we do not typically access the root user account because we don't want to open up the possibility for making mistakes and having to reinstall software. But that said, if you happen to go in and do an experiment as the root user and you wreck your virtual machine, well, it's just software. Delete it and reinstall it. You can just go back to the first steps and reinstall the virtual machine. So I don't recommend it, but if you're courageous and you want to do a root user experiment, it will be okay if you make a mess of things because you can just rebuild the virtual machine. Okay. Yeah, so that's the root user. Package management. So it's another issue that we deal with a few times in this course. When we say package management in a Linux system, all we're talking about is the way that software is installed, updated, and removed on a Linux system. You've probably installed software on other types of systems. So it's just the term that we use for describing how we manage software on a Linux system. Most Linux systems will have package manager software in them, which is really just programs that allow us to install programs, if that makes sense. So a package manager gives us the ability to install new software. A package manager gives us the ability to update the software that we have if there are new versions. And a package manager gives us the ability to remove software that we no longer want. You will see package management in connection to a Linux distribution when you go research that. Okay. Doing okay on time because I want to do the inside the system part before we run out of time today. So the readings will get you all the answers that you need. I just went over some of them, but the rest of it you will find in your readings. Okay, so let's do the last element of week 1, or at least I'll walk through the module to get there, which is the virtual machine itself. So I'm going to walk this module, meaning I'm going to go to Canvas. I've looked at the readings page. At the end of the live stream, by the way, I will also put the video. I will embed the video in the lecture page. So there should be no reason why you can't find the week's lecture. You will find the week's lecture on Twitch, on YouTube, on the videos page, and in the lecture page. The version of the video I embed in the lecture page will be the one that's captioned by our captioning service. Okay, so that will appear later today. So on we go to part 2 of week 1, which is the lab assignment itself. Now, I hate the way Canvas does this because you couldn't see everything that was in there. So I grabbed this little handle on the lower right corner and just stretched out. I don't know if that's what it looks like to you or not. Anyway, so here's the lab write-up. We're going to do 3 things. We're going to install the virtual machine management software, which is called Oracle VM VirtualBox. This link to instructions is the guide. So that same set of instructions is on the guides page. We're going to download, import, and launch a virtual machine. These instructions are the same instructions in the guides page. Now this download is big. I apologize for this. That's not the right one, in fact. Let me go fix that. I renamed it, and that is not the one that I want. That's the one that I want. Okay, so I have pre-built a Linux for you. And there's instructions. Once you've downloaded and installed Oracle VM, and then you download and launch the virtual machine, then you can proceed to the last set of instructions, the last part of the lab, which is entering commands. So I don't have time in an hour to do all of them. And hopefully these guides are enough to get you through the first two parts. I'm going to do the third part. Okay, so let me switch views. So I'm assuming at this point where I'm at in terms of my setup is I have followed the instructions to install Oracle VM VirtualBox. I have downloaded a virtual machine image, and I have followed the instructions to launch it. And then I'm on step 3. So let me show you what it looks like after I have completed the first 2 steps. Okay, so I have a whole bunch of virtual machines installed for different classes and for you guys. So the one that's highlighted is the one that you will have after you complete the first 2 steps of the lab. So this window you're looking at here is Oracle VM VirtualBox. It is a piece of software that allows us to create and manage virtual machines. A virtual machine is simply a computer that runs in software. So we can experiment with a Linux system without having to have a whole separate computer. We just run our Linux system as if it were its own computer, but it's actually running inside of a window on our actual computer. Many of you have experienced virtual machines by now, but if you haven't, virtual machine just means a computer that is simulated, kind of. That's not the best word to use, but it's a software-based computer system as opposed to what you're used to, which is a hardware-based one. But this allows us to install a variety of different operating systems and run experiments. And the stakes are very low because if we make mistakes, we can simply delete things and go back a step and start over. So if you make a mistake somewhere, it's fine. It doesn't take very long just to go back a step and start that step over to get back to where things are working again. So the one that's highlighted is the one that you will have after you complete the first 2 steps. So I have Oracle VM VirtualBox, and then I'm going to disappear it. Yeah, that's what I want. Okay, so this is after step 2 is completed, which is I have downloaded a virtual machine image and I have launched it. So it is now running. This is, it's in a window on my computer here, but it is for all intents and purposes a Linux computer that I can now go and play around in. So you're going to find that there is a guide that walks you through everything that I'm about to do. So actually, let me switch back. So I'm about to do step 3, where I'm asked to enter commands. And there are instructions for doing that. And then keep the machine running until you're completely done with the lab, because there may be other places where you want to enter a command or try out something before you consider week 1 done. Okay, so I guess I can look at these instructions, because I do have time to get through this before our hour is up. So I have selected and launched my system. So I'm at this point where it says Butte student. The password is student without the quotes. So sorry if I don't want to make anybody seasick, but I'm going to switch back over. I'm going to type student. Oops, S-T-U-D-E-N-T, no quotes, just student, and I'm going to log in. And then I think it kind of got funky looking. Yeah, it did. So let me fix that, because I can't have that looking bad like that. Okay, that's back under control again. Okay, so now I'm logged in. The instructions, I'm not going to flip back and forth anymore, but the instructions will tell you now that you need to go and open a terminal. So be careful here because this file menu, file machine, view, input, devices, that is not the Linux system. That is the software that the Linux system is running inside of. So to complete the lab, I want to be working inside of the Linux system window, which does not include the bars on the top and bottom. So it's going to tell me to open a terminal. So I'm going to go to this button right here, the applications menu. I'm going to right click it and I'm going to choose terminal emulator, which says use the command line when I hover it. So I'm going to click on that. And now I am inside. Let me make sure it looks okay to you. It does. Now I am inside of a command line interface. This is what we're going to do almost the entire semester is open up terminals and issue commands. One of the commands that I'm asked to experiment with is who am I? So I type who am I, no spaces. And when I press enter, this command will execute and any results will print to the screen. So who am I results in Butte. Butte, B-U-T-T-E, like that, with all little letters. That is my actual username on this system, is Butte. So my username is Butte. My password is student. There is another command that it asked me to execute. I'm going to go cheat and see which one it is. Or I'll let you encounter that for yourself. Maybe is more fun for you. So there is another command. So when you're working through the lab assignment, you will get to this point and you will be asked to issue another command here, which you will type in. Be careful of the spacing because sometimes there are spaces. But the worst thing that happens, so let's just say, for example, I type who am and I forget the I and I press enter. I just get a complaint from the system. It doesn't break anything, so it's fine. I just try to figure out what did I do wrong. Oh, shoot, I forgot the I. So I'm going to put a space in it this time. So same complaint. So if you enter the command wrong, the worst thing that happens is you'll get a message saying, I don't know what that is or I don't like it. But you haven't broken anything. So I'll give you one little extra here to make your life easier, even though you don't actually need it. If you type clear, this will be like the little Easter egg from the video. So if people watch through to the end of the video, they'll get this command. If you type clear and press enter, it clears the screen. And that's handy because sometimes you get a bunch of garbage out there. Okay. So that is when you are working the quiz part of the lab, it's going to ask you to execute one more command. So keep this system running like this so that when you get to that question, you can go back to your system, type the command, press enter, and see what the output is. All right, so you'll do the quiz, and then once the quiz is done, you will click next. Oh, I forgot to tell you. The quizzes you get 2 attempts on. So I want you to be thoughtful about the quizzes, but I also don't want to punish you because you were a little off in your understanding on one item. So you get 2 attempts on the lab assignment quizzes. So you can go through them once and you're like, oh, I knew the right answer to that. You can go redo it and hopefully get perfect the second time through. But I also don't want people just kind of wildly guessing for hours and hours. I want it to be thoughtful work. Okay, so once I'm done with the lab, I will click the next button, and then it will get to the last part of the work each week, which is the Piazza discussion. So I'm going to read the instructions and then show you what Piazza looks like. So you will need to create a Piazza account for yourself. I like Piazza because it allows you to post things anonymously if you want to, but I, the teacher, can still see that you are active. So if you want to ask a question in our discussion forums but are feeling shy about it, you can flag it as an anonymous question. The instructor will still see that you were contributing, but your classmates don't have to know who it was. Piazza will also let you use nicknames for yourselves so that if you don't want people seeing your actual name, you can do that. So Piazza gives you a lot of freedom to sort of operate either anonymously or not, while still the instructor knows what you're doing in the discussion forums. So here's the instructions for this week in Piazza. We're going to create an account. I've already created one, of course, so I have it ready. You're going to log into your account, and then you're going to use the week 1 filter, which I'll show you, and find a discussion titled, Tell Us a Little About Yourself. And then it will ask you to compose a new follow-up discussion where you make your contribution. Make sure that you post your follow-up discussion. And then finally, if you want to reply to a classmate, you're welcome to do that. I encourage you to try the different features of Piazza until you get comfortable with it. But you will get comfortable with just the weekly discussion aspect. So let's go to Piazza. I need to change into our class. All right, so here we are. Right now, it's just a big mess of stuff. And oops, you can't see that. Switching back to... Okay, so I am in Piazza now. So this discussion, okay, so I have to go back because you couldn't see any of that stuff. It's okay in the chat, by the way, to say, hey, we can't see what you're talking about. So once you're done with the lab, you get 2 attempts at it. You go to the Piazza discussion, which most weeks is the end of your work. There's links. It's the same link, but you'll first need to create a Piazza account. You can use a nickname. You can use your real name. You can post anonymously. And again, I can see who you are, but your classmates don't have to if you don't want them to. And then you'll log into your Piazza account that you've created. You will use a filter, week 1, to find a specific discussion and contribute to it. So now that you can see, let me go do that part. So here's Piazza. There's a big mess of discussions, but here at the top, you can find the filters. So I've made a filter for every week. So I'll click on the week 1 filter up here. And that will get me down to far fewer discussions. I'm told to find the Tell Us a Little About Yourself discussion. So I'm going to click on that. And then I have a prompt. So here's the discussion. Tell us a little about yourself. Here's me, the instructor. I already kind of wrote my bit about myself. And then what you will do is you will compose a follow-up discussion down here with your little bit of what you're willing to share about yourself with us. And again, this is just to kind of humanize us because we don't see each other ever, if at all. So it's nice to know that we're not alone and that we're surrounded by other people with at least this interest in common. That's what a lot of this is about. So I'm posting a follow-up discussion, and then when I'm done, I will submit it, and then I will have contributed. I can also, you'll see that you can add comments to your classmates' follow-ups if you like. So you can do your own individual follow-ups, and or you can post replies to your classmates' follow-up discussions as well. So that's Piazza. You're always welcome, by the way, to start a new post where if you have a question, you can ask it. You're very much encouraged as a student in the class to offer answers to questions or ideas. There's no getting in trouble if your answer's wrong. I will just come in and say, well, that's not exactly right. Here's the correct answer. But usually your answers are as good, if not better than my own when you have a classmate who asks it. So don't be shy about asking questions in Piazza. Don't worry tons about the filters in terms of your own notes. If you make a completely new discussion where you want to talk about distributions or whatever, just post it in there and we can organize it later if we have to. But also don't be shy about contributing to answering questions or contributing discussions that your classmates made. All right, I went over 5 minutes, which I guess is mostly because my voice needed a break. Okay, that is it for this first week. It's a lot. Hopefully the break, when you're watching the videos later, there's one break in there, which is at the end of the kind of talking about the week 0 orientation material. And then after the break is the week 1 first week's lab and discussion material. So hopefully that makes it easier also to view the video later. Otherwise, I am grateful to those of you who could make it this morning. I know not all of you will be able to make it ever or some of the time, but it's very nice for me to know you're out there. It's very nice for me to say good morning to you and have you say good morning to me. So look forward to working with you this semester. I look forward to interacting with you on the live stream when we can, or in office hours, or by Canvas Inbox, or by Piazza, or by any of the other ways that we had to communicate with each other. So I hope you have a great day. I hope you have a great week. I have office hours this Thursday. Canvas Inbox is open for business. Piazza discussion forums are open for business. So I encourage you to try out all these different channels and find the one or ones that feel most comfortable for you, and then we will go on from there. So I'm just going to go through the names real quick, and then we will call it a day. So thank you for still being here at the end. Audicia, Casino, Commander Root, Gels, Kay, King Solomon, Peachy, Robo, that one kid, and Harrison, the moderator. I hope that your day improves, or that the end of your day comes when you would like it to come, and then you can have some time to relax and do what you would like to do with your time. So with that, I'm going to say goodbye, and I will see you on Monday next week. Have a great day.